A trove of depraved footage showing Will Smith and other household names in Epstein's island has surfaced, and the fallout could be catastrophic.
Jada had hard drives that contained sex on
Like Diddy?
Like
Diddy tapes?
Yeah, it's like that. It's exactly like that, right?
Was she bringing in other people, filming the other people and all that stuff?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, man, what was really wrong with this guy? Like, there's some serious stuff that's wrong with him. Like, what is it?
I really didn't want to get married, but...
We only got married because Gammy was crying.
Well, Gammy, this is what happened. It was almost as if Gammy was like, you have to get married.
So I'm like, well, I'm going to have to speak my truth, but I'm also going to protect you. So if I got to look like the adulterous wife to make sure you're good, I'm going to do it.
That is the pattern most people act like they cannot see. A man who built influence on recordings, secrets, and private rooms, you were never supposed to leave the same way you entered them. And right inside that same pattern, copying it, reshaping it, and using it within their own home, were Will and Jada Smith. A marriage they openly admit they never truly wanted. A separation that somehow still comes with a promise that she will never leave his side. And a close friend claiming Jada had her own Diddy-style collection of tapes involving young artists and vulnerable individuals, created to keep them under control for the rest of their lives. This is not just a chaotic Hollywood relationship. This is what it looks like when a family operates inside the same kind of leverage system that kept Epstein untouchable for years. And no one felt the weight of that more than the child who grew up witnessing it all. Jaden Smith.
Will's getting old. Somebody needs to take care of him. And I thought people would get, like,
that's going to be you.
Yeah, I said that's going to be me. I'm going to take care of him. It was in the special.
You know what I think? This is what I kind of think. I think people hear like straight talk, and you're a straight talker, no question.
Right.
So I think the confusion came from
we were broken up.
We were broken up, and then I think the next statement they would expect is, but not anymore. Yeah, we're back together. Not anymore. Because I think, I feel like there were nuances, but
there are a lot of nuances.
So can we just again because then people call me like, wait, what happened? So if you were to describe your relationship.
Beautiful place.
Yeah.
I will never leave Will's side.
Never.
Ever.
No.
And that's all, you know what I mean? I'll never leave his side. But just like I explained to you yesterday, I'm not putting it in that box.
Yeah.
Like I worked so hard to dismantle all the romanticism, and I just want to love Will as he is, right? I don't want to put him in any boxes, and I don't want to be put in a box. And let me tell you, it's been beautiful. It's been beautiful.
What does that beauty look like for you day in and day out? So are y'all living together?
It's just this beautiful connection. We will.
Look at that.
Not right now.
But you will.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why do you say that with such
clarity?
Because that's what it's going to be.
That's where it's headed.
Yeah.
And you both are on that page.
Yeah. And but right now I really do enjoy my space.
Yeah.
I've been living
alone.
I am my mother's only child.
Yeah.
Right? And so having this time that I've had to myself has been fantastic. Just to get to know me, even to have my house exactly how I want it. I don't have to be like, well, what color do you want this wall? You know what I mean? I can just do it.
You're the chooser.
I'm the chooser.
You're the chooser.
Right.
So when you imagine your life back together, because I'm sure you've seen it, how does that look to you?
We don't know yet.
You'll build that.
We'll build that. And it'll be something new.
Would you say she has been instrumental in you and I redefining our relationship?
I would say don't just start filming me without asking me.
Oh my goodness.
If you could film.
Astaire, come help us again, please.
I'm still dealing with foolishness.
Don't. No, because she don't just.
Would you say that she helped us heal the hurts that we caused between one another?
My social media presence is my bread and butter, okay? So you can't just use me for social media and not, don't just start rolling. I'm standing in my house. Don't just start rolling.
Please watch Astaire at the Red Table because she's helped us a lot. Can't you tell?
Before anyone even gets into the lawsuits, the Scientology rumors, the tapes, or Diddy's name, the focus has to start with the one person who never had any real choice in any of it. Jaden Smith was born into a home that, from the outside, looked like the safest place a child could have in Hollywood, with a list parents, money, and endless opportunity. But the moment you step through that front door, the picture changes completely. This is the same family that operated a private school in Calabasas called New Village Leadership Academy, where former staff members say the curriculum was built around Scientology study tech, with L. Ron Hubbard's materials displayed on the walls. The same mother who later admitted she connected with some of those teachings, even while insisting she never officially joined the church. The same organization whose well-known Hollywood follower, Danny Masterson, was later sent to prison after women testified that the church protected him and pressured them to stay silent. That is not just an unusual parenting decision. That is a child being raised in an environment where secrecy and handling issues internally is the norm. And when Jaden finally opened up about the impact that pressure had on him, it did not sound like someone raised in a happy, experimental, or progressive home. It sounded like someone trying to break free. He has spoken openly about depression and anxiety, about wanting to leave home at a young age, and about feeling like he had to rebuild himself just to breathe.
It was always in my head talking, telling me what I was and what I wasn't. And for the first time, I had like a ego dissolution where I was like, that was the moment that really changed me. You get to a place in your life where you're blocked by something, whether it's a trauma, whether it's your emotions, your ego, not being able to express yourself. And then I feel like psychedelics are a way to tear down that wall and see what's beyond it. Doing it guided with people that are professionals, I feel like really increases the chances of having that mystical experience.
On Red Table Talk, Jada presented introducing him to psychedelics as something healing, as a kind of spiritual journey, while Jaden described an ego death experience that completely changed him. And to the audience, it comes across less like therapy and more like a teenager trying to erase whatever identity this system created for him. Because when someone grows up in a home that treats marriage like a contract and uses recordings as leverage, no one even has to say the name Epstein for people to sense that something is deeply wrong. And Jaden's entire life, the way he speaks, the way he keeps his distance, and the way he constantly tries to begin again, all of it starts to look like the first sign that something beneath the surface is not what it seems.
I really didn't want to get married, but...
We only got married because Gammy was crying.
Well, Gammy, this is what happened. It was almost as if Gammy was like, you have to get married. So let's talk about the wedding. I was like, I never wanted to be married.
I don't remember that. I remember feeling very strongly and wanting you guys to be married. I do remember that. Yes. But I don't remember your rejection of the idea of marriage. I remember the rejection of the idea of a wedding.
I didn't want a wedding either. I was like, I don't want to get married. And now Gammy done gone to Will crying about, I don't want to have a wedding. And now I'm being forced to have a wedding. When really, I just wanted it to be the two of us on a mountain because I was like, this is serious business.
Yeah. Wedding was horrible.
It was a horrible wedding.
It was a mess. Jada was sick. She was very unpleasant. Wouldn't cope, but she was sick. She didn't cooperate with anything.
You were 6 months pregnant.
The most striking part of this story is that Will and Jada have already made it clear on camera that this was never a fairy tale romance, openly admitting they did not truly want to get married and went through with it because of pressure, timing, and public image. And from the very beginning, this was not just a relationship, but something that functioned more like a contract.
Will's getting old. Somebody needs to take care of him. And I thought people would get like,
that's going to be you.
Yeah, I said, that's going to be me. I'm going to take care of him. It was in the special.
You know what I think? This is what I kind of think. I think people hear like straight talk, and you're a straight talker, no question.
Right.
So I think the confusion came from
we were broken up.
We were broken up, and then I think the next statement they would expect is, but not anymore.
Yeah, we're back together.
Not anymore. Because I think I feel like there were nuances,
there
but
are a lot of nuances.
So can we just again because then people called me like, wait, what happened? So if you were to describe your relationship.
Beautiful place.
Yeah.
I will never leave Will's side.
Never.
Ever. Yeah. And that's all, you know what I mean? I'll never leave his side. But just like I explained to you yesterday, I'm not putting it in that box Yeah. You know, like I worked so hard to dismantle all the romanticism, and I just want to love Will as he is, right? I don't want to put him in any boxes, and I don't want to be put in a box. And let me tell you, it's been beautiful. It's been beautiful.
What does that beauty look like for you day in and day out? So are y'all living together?
It's just this beautiful connection. We will.
Look at that.
Not right now.
But you will.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
Why do you say that with such
clarity?
Because that's what it's gonna be.
That's where it's headed.
Yeah.
And you both are on that page.
Yeah, and you know, but right now I really do enjoy my space.
Yeah.
You know, I've been living
alone.
I am my mother's only child.
Yeah.
Right? And so having this time that I've had to myself has been fantastic. Just to get to know me, you know, even to have my house exactly how I want it. I don't have to be like, well, what color do you want this wall? You know what I mean? I can just do it.
You're the chooser.
I'm the chooser.
You're the chooser.
Right.
So when you imagine your life back together, because I'm sure you've seen it, how does that look to you?
We don't know yet.
You'll build that.
We'll build that, and it'll be something new.
So if I gotta look like the adulterous wife to make sure you're good, I'ma do it.
What?
Yeah.
Leave it to somebody like this to cheat on your husband and then to go and write a book about it, go on a book tour, and then talk about how you took accountability for cheating and you were the one that's carrying the cross. Oh, true.
I got in my martyrdom bag.
You're a martyr?
And what that is for me is I hadn't quite learned how to love myself and not leave myself on the side of the road.
And
in that moment,
dude, this is some whole logic that this is crazy.
Years later, after cheating scandals, entanglements, and very public humiliation, she says the same thing in a different way, explaining that they are separated, but she will never leave his side. And to most people that might sound romantic, but from within an inner circle, it comes across more like a rule, that you do not walk away from the partner the system paired you with, not because of love, but because both of you know far too much.
So as people know, or something a lot of people didn't know, I was living in Medellin, Colombia. And just really quick, a guy named Fernando was my assistant out there. He would drive me around, help me out, do whatever I needed him to do. And when we pulled up in front of my apartment one day, it was a policeman out there. Then there was one guy who I know to be a private investigator. And then there were two other people with black pants and white tops. Now, these are Scientology outfits, and I'm not saying they're Scientologists. So they go away after a while. The next day, me and Fernando are driving down the road, and a car tries to run us over the embankment, and they were successfully able to run us over the embankment. And I've suffered some major injuries. Yeah, major injuries.
And you assume that has to do with someone related to Jada?
Oh, Jada in the Church of Scientology, without question. This is real, because I know for a fact that Danny Masterson and Will and Jada was at Will and Jada house. So this was going on while, now for those who don't know, Danny Masterson was a Scientologist and is now in jail for 30 years to life or something for sex using people within Scientology. So what I'm saying is it possible Will and Jada was involved in that behavior too? We're gonna find out.
Listen closely to what Bal says when he talks about trying to walk away, because he explains that he gave his entire self to that world and then found himself living overseas after what he describes as a pseudo-accident, with serious injuries, no clear answers, and a constant pressure to stop asking questions. When the topic of Scientology comes up, he does not treat it like a rumor, instead speaking in detail about their books, their recruiting tactics, how money influences everything inside that church, and how familiar that behavior felt when he tried to step back. So when you piece it all together, it paints a clear picture of a marriage they never truly wanted, but somehow still cannot leave, a family that ran a school based on questionable methods, and an insider claiming that the moment he stopped going along with it, everything around him seemed to turn against him. That does not look like simple chaos. That looks like a contract. And like every contract in this kind of world, it comes with a price.
The thing is, I knew Will prior to him with Jada. And once he got with Jada, he smelled like a skunk, right? and she manipulate, and I've seen the manipulation. I've seen the things that she's done, and I've seen how he followed her. Because like I said, this is not about civil. This is about criminal, right? Tony Busby wanted to represent me.
Really?
Right? But that was it was with Will, it was with Jada, and it's with Diddy. See, what a lot of people don't understand, Will and Diddy relationship is tight, and there's some criminality within that I saw. Oh, that's in the book too, right? So much to the fact that Will took to a show in San Diego, got up on stage talking about, hey, I ain't cool with Diddy. I don't mess with him. No, Will, you do mess with him. And y'all done things that I believe to be criminal, especially if you look at Bashir Gray, So don't play no games. All this stuff, all these people that's covering it, Megyn Kelly, you didn't even know Mario from XX Hollywood. Now I'm getting all these big media giants covering my story, right? About the lawsuit and the allegations and all kind of stuff. You know why? Because I got factual proof. I'm going to jail if I've told this many lies with this much paperwork. This much paperwork. If I'm telling lies, I'm going to jail. So this is not no hoax. This is going to be bigger than the Diddy scandal. Jada is diabolical. Like I said before, I do believe that she's done things with minor kids. I do believe, and I know for a fact that she's done inappropriate things with Will and Jada Smith. With Willow and Jaden's friends. Then also the people that she had around her from the Church of Scientology, they were like robots.
Bilal is not speaking as someone casually reacting from his couch. He is describing what he claims to have seen while actually spending time inside their home, saying he knew Will personally, observed Jada closely, and believes the dynamic involving them, and Diddy went beyond messy behavior into something he calls criminal, and he explains it in a way that feels structured rather than random, portraying Jada as the one guiding everything, Will as someone who went along with it, and Diddy as a central figure connected to the whole situation, while also mentioning that legal figures like Tony Busby were brought in as support and that younger individuals, including people like Bryce or Gray, and even friends of Jaden, were drawn into circumstances that should never have been part of a normal family setting. And when you listen carefully to how he lays it out, it does not come across like a bitter former friend trying to create drama, but more like someone attempting to describe a system, with the way he talks about Jada managing people, Will complying, and Diddy sitting at the center, making the household sound less like a private home and more like a smaller version of a pattern that has been referenced in other legal claims and public accusations.
This is what I'm battling. I turned down money from them. I turned down $500,000 that was offered from Will and Jay. It's in the paperwork where a guy by the name of Charlie Mack was threatening me. I told him not to call me. What happens is he goes through my best friend, sends me a retraction letter stating that I should say all this and that they would pay me. And I didn't take the money.
When the pressure finally reached its peak, Bal says Jada did not approach him with apologies. Instead, she came with an offer. And in his account, he was offered money to make his case disappear, to soften what he knew, and to step back into silence. But he refused to take the money. In a place where most stories seem to vanish the moment a settlement is reached, this choice stands out as the complete opposite. You do not have to accept every single detail he shares to understand what that decision represents, because whatever he knows, he chose not to bury it for a payout. And when you line up everything Bilal has said across his interviews, the picture that starts to form is not just a bitter fallout between former friends, as he describes leaving their world, ending up overseas, recovering from a near-fatal accident he does not believe was random, and recognizing within Will and Jada's environment the same kind of controlling and closed-system behavior he had already seen operating in rumored Scientology circles. At this stage, it no longer looks like a chaotic celebrity family. It starts to resemble a smaller version of the same kind of inner circle often mentioned in discussions around Epstein, with controlled environments, powerful connections, people who tried to leave and were harmed, and a culture where the first instinct is not accountability, but containment.
A trove of depraved footage showing Will Smith and other household names in Epstein's island has surfaced, and the fallout could be catastrophic. We're talking about pagan rituals with satanic influences.
This is what the pattern looks like at its highest level, with controlled environments, compromising material, and names so powerful that nobody openly laughs when they are mentioned, except for the people who already knew. The Epstein files released through the House Oversight Committee in early 2026 seemed to confirm what had been circulating for years, that his network was not just private misconduct, but something closer to a leverage-based system, with emails, calendars, and travel logs connecting producers, moguls, and entertainers to his inner circle. And when Will Smith's name began appearing in the same online discussions as those files, his team dismissed it as baseless. But what becomes harder to ignore is the behavioral pattern that Bal describes around Will and Jada, which does not just resemble Epstein's model in a general sense, but according to him suggests they were allegedly operating a smaller version of it, with their own documentation, their own leverage, and their own collection.
Jada had hard drives that contained on them.
Like Diddy? Like Diddy tapes?
Yeah, it's like that. It's exactly like that, right?
Was she bringing in other people, filming the other people and all that stuff?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
so wait, you're saying Jada's the next Diddy?
Now, I'm only saying these things so if they come out, people know I know what I'm talking about. But when it becomes criminals, when you coerce people, when you give them money, when there's drugs there's always alcohol.
And you saw
that.
You saw that in the tapes.
Yes, there's always Tushi there. There's always ayahuasca, and there's always shrooms, psychedelics there. Right? This is a part of Will and Jada's life, drugs and drinking. Right? Forget what you see in public. And when these people on the tape, Alfonso Ribeiro's on there, Tyrese is on there, right? There are a bunch of people that's on, and I am saying this, right? I'm saying this, and I'm in open court. I dare y'all to play with me because y'all know what y'all did. Jada, you know what you did to another one of Jaden's friends. That boy is messed up for life.
Jada was said to have had tapes connected to Diddy, with claims that she studied his model, followed it closely, and used it to build her own collection, not of music, film, or art, but a library of compromising material involving young artists and vulnerable people, designed to keep control over them indefinitely. This was not described as something accidental, but as something built with intention, like a deliberate system. And when you place that next to what John Deal shared about Will and Jada, allegedly trying to pursue Jennifer Lopez while she was dating Diddy, a claim that Diddy himself had to respond to on Jimmy Kimmel Live, where he sat in visible discomfort before changing the subject, it starts to suggest that their connection to Diddy was never just social, but something more functional. They moved within the same circles, spoke the same language of access and leverage, and according to Balal, followed the same kind of playbook. And if you want to understand how something like that could exist inside what appeared to be a normal family home, then you have to look closely at what their marriage actually represented.
The Red Table Talk in July 2020 when Jada got all entangled with August.
I mean, because this is your red table and you brought yourself to the red table. I think you need to say clearly what happened.
As far as what?
You and I.
The false narrative that I helped to create on the red table. Yeah, and then I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
An entanglement?
Yes.
So poor Will because of the
adulterous wife.
Yeah.
Who forced him to go to the table and sit there.
Jada, come on, yeah, you didn't force him there to be there in that moment, but you forced him into this conversation. And what's going to happen is that if you're sitting there by yourself and you said, you guys are separated at the time, the next question is Will going to verify that story? So then Will would have to make a statement, do his own video. So he's basically just being more efficient with his time by just sitting there instead of doing it 2 hours after you posted this video. So yeah, you kind of did force him to be there, Jada. He has to verify his story. So if you didn't verify it then, you'd have to verify it later, and you'd have to spend more time in this. So yeah, you forced him. But anyways, yeah, she does not like the poor Will narrative that's out there, and apparently, I guess, these interviews are supposed to put her in a good light and put Will in a bad light. That's not what's happening.
First of all, I'm really shocked because, mind you, I'm not there. We haven't called each other husband and wife in a long time. I'm like, what is going on?
Most people remember Red Table Talk as a moment of radical honesty, where Jada sat across from Will on camera and admitted to an entanglement with August Alsina, and the internet quickly debated whether it was brave or humiliating. What they did not know at the time, and what Balil's lawsuit is now making harder to ignore, is that red table talk was not necessarily an act of radical honesty. It was, instead, an attempt at shaping the narrative.
Adulterous wife.
Yeah.
Who forced him to go to the table and sit there, you know what I mean? And now look at what she's done. She has the power with an eye roll to make him go up and slap somebody on stage.
And by the time the real details begin to leak about the alleged bedroom activities, the supposed tape library, the younger man, and the Diddy connections, they have already presented the audience with a version of events that makes the more uncomfortable truth much harder to fully process. Now, Jada is attempting to reframe even that earlier version, positioning herself as the victim within the entanglement narrative. But what is being described is a kind of marital prison, not in a tweet or a bitter post-separation interview, but in his own reflections on what their marriage actually functioned as. A performance maintained for public consumption, while both sides allegedly pursued whatever they needed in private. And the children absorbed the emotional damage of watching two adults repeatedly justify an arrangement that blurred or broke every boundary a family is supposed to hold. When Will Smith told GQ in 2021 that Jada never believed in conventional marriage and that they chose to move away from monogamy to avoid pretending to be something they were not, he was presenting it as a form of liberation. What Bilal's testimony, the alleged tape library claims, and the Diddy connection suggest it actually was, is a contract designed in a way that ensured neither party could ever fully expose what the other one knew. You cannot easily leave a marriage when leaving means the other person can talk.
It almost seems like Will Smith is finally waking up because their marriage is clearly miserable, which is why it's not that crazy to see him getting freaky on stage with the singer India Martinez. Now, these two got steamy on stage. They were all up on each other. They even seemed to kiss while on stage. You can also see pictures of India backstage jumping into Will Smith's arms like he isn't a married man. Wow. I mean, look at him looking at her. I mean, this is like the happiest I've ever seen him, though. Truly. Oh. I wonder if she must not be scared of Jada. I would be. Now, a lot of people called Will out, saying it was inappropriate and that this was some of his worst behavior. Someone said it's like someone's dad is on karaoke with a drunk local woman. It's how Will forgot where he was and he went to put his arms around her. Someone else said that he's playing too much. Others disagree, saying, I don't care, his wife has embarrassed him how many times? Let that man live. He's been put through so much being with Jada. Now, if you don't know who India Martinez is, she does have some, catchy music. It was last reported that she was in a relationship with actor Ismael Vasquez, but she's no longer with him. I mean, she's pretty much Instagram official with Will Smith, posting pictures of them together, having some wine. People in the comments are calling them out. It looks like a little situationship going on here. Another person said they make a cute couple. Shame she already has a sentimental partner. So wait, is she still with Ismael? I mean, there has to be something going on between these two because they're hanging out so often and India wants the world to know.
No ronees tanto. No ronees tanto.
Ya lo sabe.
So it looks like Will Smith has himself a little sneaky link around. And even though Jada has cheated on him before with men who are super young, like half her age, this India kiss, this moment that he had on stage was supposedly the final straw. After years of rumors and speculation that Will and Jada's marriage is on the rocks and that the two were heading for divorce, another rumor has emerged. It looks like they're headed towards divorce again. Radar Online reported that the couple were quietly making arrangements to end their marriage.
I think with the Will Smith and Jada situation, I think this is what Will Smith needs, because we all see the happiness that comes with him doing this. This showed that he self-growth from certain things as a man. He made good sacrifice, good decision in his life, right? So when you see the downfall when he was with Jada, right? We all saw the red table, the entanglement thing. You saw that really fit right with Will Smith. A lot of things. These are things where he sacrificed, right? Trying to prove the world that he's just a man that defends his wife. Not gonna tolerate disrespect. We all get that. And look what happened when he did that.
Something has shifted in Will Smith. For many years, he has been portrayed as the one holding things together, often acting as a kind of emotional buffer around Jada's public relationships and controversies. Using careful language and maintaining composure even during moments of public embarrassment, including sitting at that red table talk, and allowing her to narrate parts of his personal life in front of an audience. Now, according to claims being circulated in narratives like Bilal's account, this long-standing dynamic is being reinterpreted in a more transactional light, though none of these allegations are independent.
I think every summer, all the reports would come out that me and Will were getting a divorce. And Chris he thought that we were getting a divorce. So he called me and he was like, hey, basically he was like, I'd love to take you out. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, well, aren't you and Will getting a divorce? And I was like, no. I was like, Chris, those are just rumors. He's like, oh my, he was appalled. You know what I mean?
And now, for the first time, he appears like a man who is no longer fully covering for his current relationship, with public statements that seem to distance him from Jada's framing and quiet signals that suggest he is no longer willing to carry the weight of a contract he never chose in the first place. All of this is being read by some as the behavior of someone who has finally examined the structure around him and decided that whatever the cost of stepping outside of it, the price is lower than staying inside. And the person who has been watching that calculation unfold his entire life, the one who grew up around alleged tapes, leverage, a strained marriage dynamic, and the influence of controversial schooling environments, has been speaking in ways that some interpret as consistent signals that something is deeply wrong, though these interpretations remain speculative and not proven fact. Meanwhile, claims about millions of documents allegedly related to Epstein, along with prosecutors' records from the Diddy trial, are often cited in online discussions as evidence of broader systems involving recordings, logistics, and controlled environments, though the legal details and connections are complex and frequently debated. The broader argument being made in these narratives is that such systems are less about personal behavior and more about long-term control through information and access. As the names continue to circulate and lawsuits continue to emerge, while those involved deny wrongdoing, the situation becomes increasingly disputed rather than confirmed. Ultimately, this raises two central questions being asked within these interpretations. If there were ever any kind of coercive or compromising material as described in these allegations, who would it involve, and how far would it reach? And if someone who has allegedly played a stabilizing role within a long-running public relationship were to step away from that role, what would that mean for everyone else connected to that narrative?